Hey guys, I'm trying to improve my vertical jump, and over the last 4 weeks I've completed phase 7 of the Vert Code Elite. Each phase is 4 weeks long, so that means a total of 28 weeks following this program at a cost of nearly $200. Phases 1 to 6 were a 5-day-a-week program, and that now moves to 6 days a week, with 4 of those being lower body sessions. Days 1 to 3 are repeated on days 4 to 6, so there's only really 3 sessions, and one of those is abs. Let's start with the ab day. It's 3 supersets, and he pairs an ab exercise with one for mobility. So there's a variation on a seated twist paired with a calf stretch, a V-sit hollow rock hybrid paired with a hamstring stretch, and a weighted side plank paired with some hip mobility. The fact 2 exercises involved weights was good because you could vary the intensity, and the session is over in 25 minutes. I went for a sports massage after phase 6, and she said my arches are starting to collapse. That's when the inside of your foot caves in. And to counteract that, I've been doing exercises barefoot where possible and adding in twice weekly walks. Okay, so the main sessions. The first lower body day is the longest, and it takes about 90 minutes. It starts with 2 drills involving a medicine ball on a basketball court, working on your lateral step, but he does offer an alternative if you don't have a med ball. Then there's some 60-yard sprints with a bounding start, just adding 1 rep each week. I do enjoy the sprinting, but I'm a bit skeptical about the transfer of sprinting to vertical jump, though I've no doubt it's great for overall athleticism. From 2006 to 2010, I ran track at university, and you can actually see on my 2010 training log on my website that I mentioned trying a jump program specifically because I lack spring. I ran about 7.4 for 60 meters at the county championships. That's equivalent to maybe 11.7 for 100 meters. And the next week tested my vertical at only 22 inches. So it's possible to do years of sprint training and not jump very high. It could be the training that sprinters do away from the track that gives them their jumping ability. Someone like Harry Akins-Ariti has a huge standing vertical, but he can also front squat 200 kilos, and he's naturally very explosive. Back to the program, and the next exercise was a variation on a depth jump with a single leg, and if you've watched my other videos, you'll know how highly I rate this exercise. The goal is to find a box height where you're maximizing your vertical, so it's not the case that a higher drop is better. I recorded these and went back frame by frame, and my ground contact time was about 0.3 seconds, meaning this is a pretty optimal height for me. The final exercise on this day involved contrast training. This is a concept I covered in my phase 2 video. The exercises are a weighted split jump and then an unweighted one. I enjoyed this session mainly because I feel like I understand the mechanisms behind the exercise selection, which gives me confidence in what I'm doing. However, I was frustrated by the warm-up provided in Vert Code Elite, so I have been switching to the one in Jump Bible. I also pulled my adductor in phase 5, and I clearly haven't rehabbed it fully, so I've added in Copenhagen planks from the knee as a warm-up, as well as 3 sets after the session. I progressed from knee to mid-calf to foot over the 4 weeks, and I no longer feel concerned that I'm going to pull it again. One final exercise I added on this day was an eccentric calf lower for my Achilles. Holding 20 to 30 kilos, I'd lower for a count of 10, going beyond horizontal on the single leg, then back up to the top with 2 legs, and repeating for as many reps as I need. The second lower body session includes one of my favourite exercises, the Nordic Hamstring Curl. I filmed myself and watched it back, and I wasn't happy with the range of motion I was getting, so I set up a resistance band and switched to assisted Nordic curls. These get really intense, and I used to cramp loads when I first tried them, so you have to tense your glutes hard the whole time, and just check your ego if you do need to make it easier. As well as a variation on a hang clean and a single leg calf raise, the other exercise to note was a kind of elevated pistol squat. The hand weights are there to counterbalance, and this was a good chance to go barefoot. So those are your 3 sessions. Repeat twice a week for 4 weeks, and that's phase 7. As a weekly workout, I'd score it highly, but if you'd asked me if I would pay $28 to be shown that, I would say no. Like I said, it's the mechanism you're interested in. So contrast training can take lots of different forms, and there's nothing special about choosing split jumps. You'll have noticed there was no jump technique or practice jumping during this phase, so I think it's really well suited for people who are doing this alongside their basketball or volleyball training. Even though there isn't a clear emphasis on jump height, I tested my vertical anyway. I ended up hitting 70 centimeters, which for me is pretty routine now. One of the frustrating parts of this program is that there aren't clear places outlined where you might expect to peak, so you're left having to trust that it's working without getting that direct feedback. I've already seen phases 8 and 9 and they seem quite similar to phase 7. If you look at the main focus of each session, it's the same for all 3 phases. That means you're being introduced to a few new exercises mixed with a few old ones. Personally, I would have already stopped by now because I don't feel it's worth the investment, but out of curiosity and because I know a lot of you appreciate these reviews, I will keep going with phase 8. Thanks for watching.